My name is Rico Pang. I'm from Sanctum Global Ventures. We are a VC incubator and accelerator based in Dubai at the moment. And on the stage today, we have two lovely speakers. Without further ado, we'd like to, both of you to introduce yourself so the crowd knows more about you.
Hi guys, this is Alex Slocum of GOPX, blockchain currency, blockchain exchange, but also, more importantly, it's about our ecosystem that we'll discuss today, and like I said, hopefully go into a deeper dive in how this is the next evolution to cryptocurrency.
Hey guys, I'm Arnav. I'm the Senior Manager of Growth Marketing at Cointelegraph. Cointelegraph, as you know, is one of the world's largest crypto media companies, and I lead growth marketing initiatives for them across verticals. Lovely to be here.
Great. So today we are going to talk about cryptocurrency and the trends in the next valuation. As we are going through quite a good timing in this year, a bearish market that has not come to the bottom yet. What do you think, Alex, on how cryptocurrency will be moving forward?
Great question. I think cryptocurrency has to make that leap into a stable growth token. One of the things that we see since its inception is that up and down. It is on the blockchain, and the blockchain is the key, but the digital currency, which is rather Bitcoin or Ethereum or ERC20 or BEP, still has that speculative nature that drives it. I think the next evolution will have to be earned liquidity. And earned liquidity is something that rises. And again, not only just a stable token, but it'll rise over time based upon liquidity generated. And I think that is the next key when we're talking about the blockchain currency.
So if you mentioned something about the altcoins and also the stable coins, and what do you think is a major problem that we are facing in the whole cryptocurrency and the whole industry?
I mean, it's right there in front of our faces. It's like we're almost like living in a matrix, right? We even have, this is a crypto conference. Crypto meaning, is cryptography. But really, what is our interest in, it is the blockchain. And it is putting a value or a currency on that blockchain that benefits us all. Okay? It is not just something that we're going to get in today and hopefully, speculatively, that is going to go up tomorrow, or again, we got in low and, instead of getting in when it was high and then it crashes out. But again, the next piece of it will be a cryptocurrency that is truly a blockchain currency that is, again, not based upon speculation. And one of the key pieces is for everyone. What is the number one thing in cryptocurrency today? And that is liquidity. Liquidity starts with the answer, it ends with liquidity. Where is this liquidity being generated from? Right now, it is being generated from ICO investors, liquidity providers, new crypto investors. But we've lost over $1 trillion over the last 3 months in crypto. Why? Because he's pulling out. People are stopping because guess what? Where is the bottom of it? Does Elon Musk come out with a tweet tomorrow that takes it down another $5,000? We don't know. And this is no way to invest. We have to move into the next evolution of cryptocurrency, and that is a stable growth token that is ours. It's not no intermediaries. Okay, it's not a government token. It's not on any exchanges that generates fees and churning, but that liquidity goes into the value of the token, and that grows over time.
Thank you for that. Arnav, from Cointelegraph, or from your personal point of view, how do you see the utility of cryptocurrency, and how do we create real utility in the industry?
Well, the way I perceive it is that we try to overcomplicate cryptocurrency. If you look at it from its core, problems it's trying to solve are really simple. And there is a need for that. That's why people are getting behind it. That's why, the growth is happening in this industry and things are changing the way they are. Whenever I work with clients that come to Cointelegraph, I always try to look at it, what's the elevator pitch? If you can explain your project to me in 10 seconds, then it's worth investing in it. It builds utility, but more than anything else, it builds trust. Because like Alex was saying, there are going to be 1 million altcoins. They're going to come and they're going to go. Liquidity is going to be built by people understanding the value that these coins provide and the use cases that are ultimately going to drive them into the future. So what I believe is that in terms of real life use cases, that's going to build the utility, and ultimately that's going to build liquidity. I mean, we don't think about the liquidity of the US dollar, for example, because there are systems and structures in place that hold it up. With crypto, it's the general populace that has to do that. And for them to do that, they need to trust it. So that's the gambit.
So from a VC point of view, I always ask projects or startups, what problem are you solving? How expensive is this problem that you're solving? And how do you actually generate profit from this as any other business in the whole space? So from your point of view, how is this different when it's a crypto project compared to a non-crypto project?
That's a very interesting question. The way I perceive it is really not that different because, like I said, people try to overcomplicate crypto projects. So we're doing this, and on top of that, we're building this DEX, and then, X, Y, and Z. And there's another very interesting aspect of that is people say, oh, we're the Web3 version of XYZ, rather than understanding if we actually need a Web3 version of certain things. So it's that little understanding that, okay, is this going to solve a real life problem? Is the Web3 version of it actually better than the Web2 version? Is it needed? And that drives success for a project. That's what I've seen in my experience.
And I believe it's all about timing as well. If you launch something that is Web3 and nobody understands how to use them and do not have the device to use them, and then while you're launching Web3, we have people in many parts of the world who still do not have an identity or a bank account yet. So they are not even on Web 1 yet. So that's something that I think we need to be very, very realistic of what we are looking at in terms of what cryptocurrency can do and what problem can we really solve. So tell us more about GOPX and what sort of unique selling point that you are using to solve real problems.
One of the unique things that we've done with the currency is look at Satoshi's white paper and what it was trying to solve. Satoshi was trying to solve a problem called double spend, which actually creates the distributed ledger. Okay? He wasn't trying to create a cryptocurrency as we know it today, or how we want to make that next Bitcoin or Ethereum. So again, from a problem solving, he was trying to solve that. Vitalik came along, Bitica, with Ethereum and brought in smart contracts, which lays the foundation for decentralized application. One of those applications that could be used is voting. We could solve the voting issue or solve the problem that this was not a fair election if we use voting on the blockchain, because one vote is encrypted, okay, it counts. Land rights, for example, medical records could be used on the blockchain. It is the blockchain that solves humanity's problem. Okay, now we talked about, the question was, how do we look at cryptocurrency? Again, we look at cryptocurrency is only good if you're a gambler, because it is based and driven by speculative or speculation. It's good if you're a gambler. Blockchain currency is earned liquidity. And the difference between earned liquidity and speculation is that earned liquidity is what gives the token a value. Increased earned liquidity in an ecosystem that uses not only the blockchain currency, which is the GOPX token, okay, but it is driven by our companies, our TV shows. We're part of the NFL. We're in the cricket leagues, okay? We have right now over 1,200 companies looking to move to 30,000 companies using the token as rewards program. If anyone here, which is the blockchain, what it's about, every last one of us in this room could participate in generating liquidity by their company, by their subscription or fees and services to a company in the ecosystem that'll give you $10, $100 back in a stake token at the end of a year. So this is a change from crypto, okay? And the rules and regulation, because they are getting blurry. The United States government, the Chinese government, and any other government all have cryptocurrency regulation rules. In the US, New Yorkers can't even go on any of the exchanges anymore. In certain places of China, it's just shut down, period. And this is what the blockchain was not meant to be, because everybody here, if you look at the history, the blockchain was supposed to bring us together, one-on-one. The value that we share, not a central government, not an authority. It is not crypto. It is not encryption, because this is a misnomer. Crypto conference? No. It's a blockchain conference. All right? Everyone here could participate and bring something to that table because the blockchain is open source. You can bring, if you're Dominion, who had all the issues in the US in the last election and was run through the ringer about Hugo Chavez and Venezuela corruption and all that stuff, right? Put your voting program and software on the blockchain. You won't have the problem. Put your medical records or your land records on the blockchain. That way a dictator can't come in tomorrow and say, no, that's not your land, that's my cousin's land. Okay, this is the things that the blockchain solves. And having a currency that's our currency that is based on earned liquidity. Right now, our token started at $1. Right now on our exchange is $500. It's not going to grow anymore until there is liquidity generated. Our exchange says you cannot sell that token for less than $500, period. It's not going to be on another exchange. And that's part of the problem, these exchanges. If any one of you open your phones right now and Google this right here, top exchanges, civil lawsuits, and see what you find. The top exchanges are going through civil litigation right now because liquidity is drying up, which means the liquidity providers are not investing anymore. That is the problem. This is what blockchain currency and earned liquidity solves. And it's not just for me or anybody up here, it is for all of us. Blockchain, period, gives humanity its last kick at the can to remove the central and corrupt governments. And I'll say this right here, one thing about Dubai, Dubai is the best place in the world that I can know of to launch blockchain currency and launch this concept of blockchain currency.
So you mentioned a lot about the utilities of the token and also how you design a cryptocurrency. Well, most of us are more interested to know how do you actually have real adoption. The customer acquisitions are getting more and more expensive. to have real users using any service in the market. For a project like yours, what is a strategy to, have onboarding real organic users that is using your cryptocurrency, for example?
Actually, that was the easy part. The easy part was not only the onboarding of new investors or customers, and we call an investor a liquidity provider because in the terms of cryptocurrency, that's what you are. If you purchase a token, or if you're purchasing tokens on a centralized exchange as an investment, you're a liquidity provider. You're an investor into that crypto space, or staking, yielding, NFT. But the question was, how does GOPX onboard its investors? What does that look like? One of the key things that we created was a rewards program where the use case would be any business that gives a discount would give the GOPX token as a reward. It could be $5, $50. But the mere act of giving that rewards token to you or any of our esteemed panel guests did two things. One, it generated liquidity. It generated stake liquidity for a year. The second thing it did, it created a new investor. All by the simple act of giving a reward or being part of a loyalty program. And nothing else ever did that. Because once you got that purchase, once you made that subscription or that fee, and that company gave you $10 in rewards and sent you that email, say, here, go get your rewards. Go register on the GOPX exchange, collect your rewards, cash out within 12 months. Now you got an investor. Now you got stake liquidity. And all because, guess what? They bought your subscription to your TV service. They went and bought in-app purchases at your golf app, your sports app, or any of the other 30,000 companies that are in the ecosystem. Right now, if you go to CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, you will see all of the top cryptocurrency tokens out there, starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum, where prices they're at. They'll track its trend for the last month. But that's what you have in our ecosystem. You'll have thousands of companies that generates liquidity every day. There is no more, guess what? We don't know what the price is going to be. You know the price is going to be $500 today. You know it may be $1,500 next month. But you know it'll be based upon the liquidity generated from our companies that provide either token rewards. Our apps, for example, our celebrity golf app that we're launching, all in-app purchases are done via credit, debit, or traditional exchange. And why do we do that? Why don't we put cryptocurrency in this exchange mix? Because guess what? 80% of the country or 80% of the world don't do crypto. So guess what? By removing that from our golf app as an example, all in-app purchases may generate $1 million a day. Our sports pool app, our Airbnb, our gaming apps. You go in, you buy it, and guess what? We generated $1 million. We take that $1 million that we generated from the celebrity golf app, put it in our USDT wallet to pair with our token. That creates liquidity. And that is the model for the future. Because everyone knows here one thing in the back of your mind, like the Matrix. There's something wrong about how we're approaching this. There's something wrong about these central authorities taking over what's supposed to be something between people. There's something wrong. But again, this is what Satoshi and Vitalik solved. But this is that next evolution and what the GOPX token provides. An open source, an open exchange where guess what? Everyone can be involved. Thank you.
Thank you. So looking at how some of the major blockchains move from proof of work to proof of stake, as we are using the liquidity to move transaction faster to prove transactions on the chain. Arnav, this question is for you. So from your point of view, what do you think of the latest development in Ethereum after the whole move to proof of stake phase 2? The Ethereum phase 2. Ethereum. What do you think about it, and how do you see the changes happening? Yeah. Is it okay?
You know, when when the merge was supposed to happen, it was all the rage. We saw Ethereum go to prices that it hadn't gone so far. What it did speak to is more symptomatic of where the market is right now, which is the fact that people were less interested in what proof of stake was actually doing to the blockchain, to the Ethereum blockchain, and what use cases it was bringing up, and more interested with the fact that, oh, is it going to go above $2,000 or not? That was majority of the market. And what I feel with now that we have proof of stake, it's one of the most strongest blockchains out in the market, and it definitely allows it to scale to a newer extent. But ultimately, the symptomatic problem is the fact that people need to understand how they're going to leverage proof of stake. How is phase 2 going to allow other projects that are on the Ethereum blockchain that are still there to be able to scale to a different extent? And that, to my mind, is going to be something that I'm going to have my eyes peeled onto, which is the fact that are more projects now being accommodating or accepting of Ethereum? Because we've seen, Polygon and Solana pick up a lot of pace over the past 2 years because of the high gas fees of Ethereum. Although that may or may not change with POS, but it does definitely allow projects to scale to a different extent that they were not able to do before. So that'd be the interesting thing to see, in my mind.
So do you think that if the gas fee for Ethereum goes back then, lower down to say less than 20 cents, 10 cents, or few cents, do you think adoption will happen again on Ethereum with so many projects being built on Ethereum previously, shifting to integrate on EVM chains and other blockchains? What do you see the future of Ethereum?
I see a blockchain that is one of the oldest and that inspired other blockchains to come into existence. What I feel is that Ethereum, to my mind, and I was having a conversation with someone which was really interesting, they said that it's one of the most secure, scalable blockchains. That may or may not be the case with other players in the market as of now. And can this use case then be leveraged for projects that are more security oriented? So it's use cases like that that I'm more interested in to see. I don't feel the gas fees is going to go down, but it has brought up an interesting point of inflection in the Ethereum journey that I feel, if played right, can bring a lot of good into the industry.
I got to follow up to that. Who does the blockchain belong to? That should be the question of every exhibitor and every attendee at this conference. Who says that there has to be fees? And who sets these fees? Why are we subject to the current state of this project, that project, this company? Again, when I started this, about 27 years ago, coming out of mainframe and COBOL, I wrote the first software program on a PC and sold it to the government. And I did it because I saw the power of VisCalc and SuperCalc. The two first applications that came out when it was Commodore 64. Some of you guys are a little bit, too young for those terminologies or understand the basic that was on program that was on computers back then. But that open source programming, the open source of Linux, drove Linux to be the best operating system on the planet because nobody owned it. So you can get the best and brightest minds to a new project, a Linux project, and guess what? It was intelligence that grew Linux to the operating system that it is today. It'll be that same open source blockchain currency, blockchain exchange that will drive the blockchain of the future. There won't be companies to tell you or regulate or governments to regulate it. It'll be driven by intelligence. And in our world right now, what we see, everything but intelligence is celebrated. We got sports. We got entertainment. True intelligence is not lifted up. And that is what's in this room right now. That is what is in this conference right now. That is what's sitting beside us right now. Intelligence. And the blockchain is the only platform that can use it.
Thank you, Alex. A lot of hype has been spreading along the direction of Web3, metaverses, after NFTs and DeFi. And each of these areas still have a lot of issues to be resolved before we can really have real adoption. On the Web3 side of things, looking at the cryptocurrencies going into Web3, what do you think are the biggest challenges that we are facing in the industry?
I think the biggest challenges that we face is how do we get everybody involved? How do we take this intelligence? How do we stop talking to people and let people talk together? How do we get the intelligence that's in this audience, okay, to move this blockchain opportunity? That's the question, because we got if everyone is just running off and building here, I'm building this, I'm building that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, over here, over there, over here, okay? That's not togetherness. That's not shared value. So again, I think one of the best analogies, I'm going to Web 3. Next Tuesday, we're at Web 4. I don't even know what 1, 2, and 3 was. The question is on Ethereum. What are we going to do with gas fees? Well, who makes that decision? Not me. I can't raise it or lower it. Why not? Why don't I have a voice in this? Why don't you have a voice in this? Why are we talking to you and not listening and collecting? Because I guarantee you, you guys are smarter than all of us. I guarantee you that there's more knowledge in this audience than someone getting an idea. Oh, guess what? Let's start this. Let's do this. Let's do that. But again, what I don't see is how do we use the blockchain. I don't see that as the central theme to these conferences. Because I can't solve your problem, but we can. I can't do anything without you, but we can do a lot. We can accomplish a lot. And that is the key.
So from a media agency point of view, you guys have been a big advocacy to governments, to industry and stakeholders. And exactly what Alex was bringing up, how do you start talking to people and communicate the message to people to get them involved in this whole movement?
One part of that is going to be education. I think that's the obvious answer. But I think education not just for the people, but also for governments. the interesting dichotomy that we're in is that we want to build an industry that has no government in it, but we cannot build the industry without them supporting us. So I believe that as of now, whatever conversations are happening is the fact that governments don't want to let go of control. People want control. I think the interesting middle ground that I perceive is that it's either governments understand that it's such a big monetary opportunity that killing it makes absolutely no sense, or we find a middle ground wherein they say, okay, crypto and blockchain gets to play in this playing field, and then we control the rest. So, which is not an ideal way to go about it. That's not how we want this industry to flourish. But ultimately, that's going to be the sacrifice that we would have to make in order for this to go to the masses, and for bad actors to not actually have the kind of leverage that they do as of now, because it's the Wild West. So,
many countries' regulators take a very clear-cut role. Either you allow it or you don't allow it, because there are always bad actors in the market, and that's the biggest headache for the regulators, to prevent, normal citizens being scammed and cheated. So I think we understand where the regulators are coming from, and we want them to understand better what real projects are doing and what are the risk mitigation strategies that every project should have as a good practice in the whole industry. I think we have run out of time today. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the panel discussion we had today about the future of cryptocurrencies moving forward. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, again, thank you guys. And again, for blockchain currency that you'll be a part of, visit us at booth 24, the GOPX. And I think one of the things that you'll find is, again, your participation is going to be vital. And I think you said it best, the education, the knowledge transfer is going to be something that excites everybody at the conference and in this room. So again, thank you guys for coming. Again, if you need anything, just ask me. Again, great audience. Thank you so much.
thanks, guys. I'd love to know a lot about what you're building, what your projects are, and how I could be of support to all of you. It was lovely speaking here. Thank you so much to my panelists, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Thank you, guys. Thank you.